This is my new to me 1979 Mercedes 300D. I got it locally here in Oak Harbor, and it was owned prior to that by a person in Mount Vernon, Washington. It has supposedly about 350,000 miles on it, but the odometer has stopped working at 251, which is pretty typical of these vehicles. And I just want to do a quick walk around. We're going to be working on this car over the next few months to get it so that it could be a reliable driver. It's got a lot going for it, and it needs a fair bit of work as well. But on balance, it was a fairly well maintained vehicle. The prior owner had sat for a while. He probably put 1,000 miles on it, he said, over the course of the last couple of years. But before that, it was a daily for somebody, which is why it's got regular Washington plates instead of collector plates on it. So doing a quick walk around on the exterior, you can see that, you know, from 20 feet it looks pretty good, but as you get closer, there's a lot of dings, dents, starting of rust, scrapes. Again, they've done a nice job of keeping it touched up, but the tires are pretty good. The wheels are chromed, and a lot of the chroming is starting to come off and pit. It's got matching tires, I'm pretty sure. The hood, I don't know if you could see that, but it is really rough, so it's starting to blister up here. It's pretty bad up in this area here. This feels like sandpaper. I mean, you can hear it. It's definitely not smooth. It's rough. You can see that there's chips and paint here. It's had at least one respray on it before. The gaskets around the front window are getting a little bit rough here. So that's going to need to get done at some point. You can see on balance, it's not in too bad a shape. You can see the paint up on the roof starting to fade and peel. There. The prior owner did put a tint on the window. You can see the body's pretty straight. The jack points don't have real rust on them. The car has been, for being almost 50 years old, 45 years old, and having 300,000 miles on it, it's actually in fairly decent shape. But as it's got a hitch, which is unusual. But as you know, kind of inspired by Pierre Hadari, you don't take one of these cars that are real low miles and use it as a driver. You take one that's got high miles that otherwise someone would abandon and have go to the junkyard, and you put some elbow grease into it and get it up to speed. So you can see this has all been faded out, chipped up. The rear seal is okay. You can see the top is just, the paint is just shot, completely shot. A lot of the anodized aluminum it's straight, but it's all oxidized. A little ding there, scrape, and a few spots here and there. But again, the jack points and underneath are pretty good. Got paint failing basically throughout the car though. Again, matching set of Hankook tires. You can take a look at the gas door here, and you You can see kind of a couple different colors of blue, depending on probably when it was painted last. I would guess this is the original color here. And we got a darker blue, then we've got the current blue, but no rust through there. Going into the trunk, got a little bit of rust coming through here, but it's not too bad. The trunk itself looks fairly clean. You can see the original tools and everything are in here. Looks like a replacement tire spare from a while back. You can see just a little bit of rust starting there on the trunk lid. If we look up underneath here, plastic is still there, so I have to take that down and check for any additional rust. We look at the interior, the bottoms of the doors, you can see that they're starting to rust out a little bit here. Get a little crusty. That needs to get addressed. But the dog leg looks really good. The strikers look really good. The MB Tex looks phenomenal. The car has had some Pioneer speakers put in the rear package tray. These nuts have obviously been redone, as normally they're sagging down to the ground. I think it's got newer carpet. But a lot of this is in pretty nice shape for the age and the general condition. There's the original first aid kit. Carpeted rear package shelf. Those have been recovered in a blue fabric. Doesn't look horrible. That probably failed years ago. So again, this is never going to be a concours vehicle, but it can be a good runner. See, the door cards are in nice shape. Needs to get cleaned up a little bit. Haven't done anything to it since I picked it up. It's got, again, the MB Tex looks really great. The car has an upgraded glow plug system, or a glow plug system to put them in parallel instead of in series. So you hit this button, count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it's alive. It's got the climate control system, which seems to be working okay. I've driven it a little bit, and the climate control seems to work fine. It's got a upgraded Sony stereo. The power windows generally work. Not going to try them all. I know that kind of the front two work, but they're slow. Previous owner told me that that one is a little bit problematic, but the other ones work fine. If you look at, kind of hit the button there, right there, that glove box, I was pleasantly surprised to see the original Mercedes book, service records, old registration, but you've got the original '79 warranty book and passenger car books in the glove box, which is kind of cool. You can see the wood is in fairly good shape. Scraped up a little bit here, but not bad. The clock actually still works. That is the current time, but the odometer and trip odometer do not. All the other gauges seem to work well. I have a quick look at the engine here. It actually kind of runs out nice. The previous owner put on some new hoses. He's done a lot of service to it. Relatively new battery. You can see not a lot of rust in here either, including some of these trouble spots down by the hinges. They did say that there's a rust spot under the battery and the battery tray, which is fairly typical, and we'll get to that. On balance, it looks like a really solid car. We'll do the Kent Bergsma test here, the blow-by. I mean, that's pretty solid. Had a new hood pad put on at some point. Looks like a lot of work done mechanically to this vehicle to keep it kind of up and running. That was one of the things that really attracted me, was mechanically this thing appeared to be really well sorted. But it does need a fair bit of paint and paint prep. You can see here on this door starting to rust. See the rust through down here. Right in that area there. So we've got to get a wire wheel in and get that all cleaned up. Let's go for a spin. Go for a spin around the neighborhood here. See, it shifts pretty smooth. It gets out of its own way. Being a child of the 80s, I grew up with cars that ran 0 to 60 in relatively no, minute. So this one, you need to kind of think ahead before you merge into traffic or go up a hill. But the car in and of itself runs out nice. It's quiet. As quiet as a diesel is going to be. There is a bit of a vibration, and I saw that with the engine. I'm not sure if the motor mounts need to be redone. I do know when I hit the brakes hard, seems to stop well. working together on this one to get it to where I can use it for some fun running around. It's not going to be fully original from the standpoint that, you know, I'm not going to replace the radios, and it's got the package trays already kind of been gummed up and what have you, but I do want to keep the drivetrain original, keep the car looking original, made when I respray it, get a little bit darker blue. But you know, next step is going to be getting the starting to get the car ready for body and paint. So that's going to include working through some of the rust spots, sanding down the hood and roof and trunk lid, making sure that everything's ready to go, and then getting it set for a respray probably at Mako. The Mako's paint is going to be as good as pretty much any other paint, but what they don't do extraordinarily well on balance is the prep. So if I could do most of the prep and then just have them, you know, scuff and shoot the car, that'll go a long way to both staying in budget as well as providing for a good driver quality paint job. So hope you follow along as we work on this 300D. We also have a 240D coming, 1979 as well, that I got from an estate, and that's we're going to work on, and that's an all original car down to the radio and everything else. We're going to work on that one coming back to full original, and then we've got the 560 SEL and the 560 SL, both of which are getting some work done on them right now, and we'll be chronicling those as we go. So thanks for watching, and look for more content on the 300D as we start work.